Good afternoon. Now, today we're talking about censorship and the impact that it's having on free speech. Universities Minister Joe Johnson announced last week that universities across the country will be held account if failing to secure free speech, and they could be fined, suspended, or even deregistered as a result.
We'll hear.
But first, our top story this afternoon. Lincoln has secured a £1 million investment to help boost tourism to the city. The grant comes from the Discover England Fund, which is funding new projects in historic cities. Our reporter, Tessa Snart, went to find out more. Lincolnshire Police have issued a warrant for the arrest of a 29-year-old man who failed to appear in Lincoln Crown Court. Ricky Holland, who has links to the Boston and Sleaford area, failed to appear on the 4th of August. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is being asked to contact the police on 101.
Lincoln County Hospital.
As Bonfire Night approaches, East Midlands Ambulance Service and Lincolnshire Fire and Rescue have teamed up to warn parents of the dangers that children could face. As national figures for firework-related injuries rise, the two services have released a series of shocking images showing the gruesome reality of the dangers. One paramedic recounts an incident last year where he was called out to attend to a child who'd been hit in the eye. Now, are you a fan of Harry Potter? Well, it appears that people in Lincoln are, as the pop-up shop by St Barnabas Hospice has raised £6,000 profit since Friday. Jack Surfleet has more. Now, many of you may think that free speech at university is simply a matter of choice. Well, not anymore. All higher education institutes will now be required by law to protect freedom of speech across their campuses, and if they don't, they could be fined, suspended, or even deregistered.
Earlier, we spoke to Jason Whitaker, the head of the School of English and Journalism, regarding his thoughts on the matter and the importance of free speech.
So, Jason Whitaker, thank you very much for joining us on this topic. So, we know that particularly in the university, censorship has been a little bit of an issue with the SU. Obviously, we had the problems last year. Yes. The story has been extended a little bit this year with Joe Johnson's comments that have just come out. So I'm just going to read a few because I'd quite like to get your take on them. So he said, no platforming in safe spaces shouldn't be used to shut down legitimate free speech. Our young people and students need to accept the legitimacy of healthy, vigorous debate in which people can disagree with one another, and that's how ideas get tested, prejudice is exposed, and society advances. Universities mustn't be places in which free speech is stifled. So what are your reactions to those comments?
Opinions.
And I've also got an interesting one from Robbie Gurman, who said many Conservative speakers get violently protested from speaking on campuses simply because they have differing opinions. Preventing people from being exposed to other ideas is thought policing. It's quite an interesting point, that one in particular, because you see how it relates to the Conservative society that we saw in the SU. And it just shows that it's a story that I don't think is going to be over for a while. But we'll see. In the meantime, keep up to date with us across all of our social platforms. Find us on Twitter at LSJTweets, find us on Facebook, or visit our website lsjnews.co.uk. And until then, have a lovely week.